My name is Michael R. Dutton, and my rank is Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, retired. The thing that led me into the United States Navy is a complicated story. Are you sure you really want to hear it? Okay. I wanted to go to college as a photojournalist. So I applied to the University of Wisconsin and to Columbia University, and I was accepted to both of them. My parents didn't like that idea, and they said, no, you're going to stay here in little old Newark, Delaware, and you're going to go to the University of Delaware, which didn't know anything about journalism. And so I stayed there for one semester. And then I disenrolled with passing grades, went into Wilmington, Delaware, raised my right hand, and enlisted in the United States Navy. Then I went home and told my parents what I had done. And so from there, off to boot camp. I joined the Navy in 1967 on a delayed entry program as an enlisted, and I went to Great Lakes, Illinois for boot camp in 1968 in one of the coldest winters on record. It was a little shocking at first, but then again, being the son of a Army brat, my grandfather was a colonel in the United States Army, I was used to discipline, so that wasn't a problem. Memories of the winter at Great Lakes, to my knowledge, it was one of the coldest winters on record. They shut down just about everything that we were doing. They would not allow us out of our barracks, except when we marched to breakfast, marched to lunch, and marched to dinner. And then we had to wait in line to get inside the galley sometimes, and that got a little chilly. I can't remember exactly how cold it was, but the pane glass windows in the barracks, which were single glazed, had ice on the inside of them. So it was below zero. So it was a cold, cold winter. Well, you know, you got to know everybody who was in the company, and we didn't have any issues with each other, so we got along, and our company commander was superb. So he taught us all the ropes and the things that we need to know to get through boot camp, and we just seemed to gel as a team, and I don't know, it just worked. And of course that had a lot to do with our company commander, and of course he pushed us. And of course we all made some mistakes, and we had to pay for those mistakes. They had things like excessive exercise. You get a rifle, and you got to do these kinds of things and these kinds of things, and hold it out in front of you to a count of 20 or 30 or something like that. And it wasn't fun with those rifles, but you learned and you improved, and then you moved on. So I don't know, the company just seemed to come together. We had people from all over the country. We were integrated, and so it was just, I don't know, it was just a team from the very beginning. At least that's the way it seemed to me. The food was basic, but it was healthful. The living conditions were basic, but comfortable. I mean, we slept in a barracks on bunks. There weren't any partitions. We weren't in private rooms or anything like that. We were all out in the open with each other, and so it was barracks living. We learned about naval history. We learned about marching, of all things, but in the Navy you still have to know how to march. We did some firing range things. We had to prove that we could fire a weapon. We didn't necessarily have to become marksmen at it, but we had to learn how to fire a shotgun and a handgun. And like I said, military history, firefighting, damage control. We learned a little bit about engineering. We learned a little bit about seamanship. We got a pretty good overall view of what the Navy was all about. Well, at first it was, oh gosh, I'm free. But not quite. But it was really an amazing thing to graduate. It was quite a ceremony. We were all on edge. We were nervous. We performed well. We had to march in. We had to go through various marching routines, and then we were told that we had all graduated. We received some sort of a diploma, I think, but that was later. And because there were so many of us in the drill hall, we were not the only company that graduated. We graduated with what was called a battalion. So there were several companies that graduated with us. And of course, those were the companies with whom we had all competed in order to earn all of those flags. So by being flag company, we were the first ones to march in and the first ones to march out. So that was pretty cool too. So, and I got along well with everybody at boot camp, and our company, when we graduated, we were what is called color company. And we won just about, you compete in various areas, seamanship, military history, marching, this thing, that thing, the other thing, and you get a flag for it. And we got every one of the flags that you could get, which is pretty good. So that was an upcheck, if you will. I'd like to say that I was able, later on in life, to watch a Navy graduation from boot camp from the other side. My nephew just recently went to into the Navy boot camp at Great Lakes, and he graduated from Great Lakes. And I was able to get an invitation from the Navy League in North Chicago. I kind of called them and asked for it, and they acquiesced, and they allowed me to be a guest with them on the dais, where all of the admirals and everybody were speaking, and all the family members of those recruits who had earned special rewards were allowed to sit. So I was up there with the VIPs watching a Navy boot camp graduation. It was an absolute thrill for me to be able to do something like that. So there's a good side note to that.